Hey you guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Mink and this is Mink's Kinks. And y'all, I am so freaking excited. As you guys read by the title, we're talking about some books on my fall TBR. And y'all, this is my season. I'm such a big fall girl. It's really the end of summer, beginning of fall. Like that's my time to shine. Okay, and I'm so excited to talk about some books on my TBR list with you guys. So listen, I am on book 19 out of 24. I set my goal as 24 this year. I finished 21 last year, so the goal is 24, and unless something serious happens, I'm gonna get those additional books. So for today's video, I have 5 physical books for you guys, and then I have 5 books on my Kindle, and I'll insert pop-ups so that you guys can see the cover art and everything. Let me know if that's something that you guys are interested in, the have physical books and have digital books. Let me know. And also let me know what your goal is for this year. I love hearing people's goals. Like I love that, because some of my friends shall be reading 50 books a year, and I'm trying to get like them. So before we go ahead and get into this video, hey, my name is Mink. I do natural hair, book and beauty, lifestyle, all types of things over here. So if you're interested in any of those things, definitely go ahead, hit the subscribe button, join our Kick Crew fam, and we're not going to waste too much time. We're going to get straight into these books on my fall TBR list. So as previously mentioned, y'all, I have 5 physical books, and then I also have my Kindle here so that we could talk. Child, she's upside down. So that we could talk about the books on the Kindle, because there also was a random stuff your Kindle day last week. So I have a ton of books to read, and I'm excited about it. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start off with my physical books. So the first book that I have here is called Don't Cry for Me by Daniel Black. And y'all, this is not a new book to me. I actually read this, I want to say a year, maybe 2 ago, and I think about this book so often. It's one of my all-time favorite books. It's one of those books that like changes your brain chemistry. I know that's like overused on TikTok and Instagram and stuff, but like in our reality, I think about these characters so freaking often. So I decided to go ahead and reread Don't Cry for Me, honestly, because there is a sequel, I guess, to this book, and it's called Isaac's Song, and that'll come out, I want to say, in January 2025. I got an advance copy, so I'm really excited to go ahead and read it, but I wanted to go ahead and read Don't Cry for Me before I started out with that. But if you've never read Don't Cry for Me, let me give you a short and sweet version of what the book is about. So the book is written by Jacob, and the book is written in a series of letters, and the letters are to Jacob's son, Isaac. So Isaac is gay. Jacob, the father, he was just very strict, very hyper masculine, and his relationship with his son, it just began to become really complicated. Not necessarily just because of his gayness and his sexuality. It wasn't necessarily just because of that, but that was a large focal point in the book. So I'm really excited to reread this. I feel like this is something that everybody should read, especially all Black people should read this book. Like, I think this is such a beautiful book. We get to learn about the father's history, and he was raised by, I want to say, his grandparents who were sharecroppers, and so the hardness he had wasn't necessarily about his son's gayness. Of course that played a part, but he didn't hate him because he was gay, but he just didn't know how to have those emotional conversations because he wasn't raised that way. So it's really just a series of letters where he's trying to share his life story and share his experiences and how their relationship got there, because he's expressed that he's always proud of him, and their relationship just took a turn, and now he's on his deathbed and thinking about everything that transpired between the two, and he's writing these letters to Isaac. And this is one of those books that made me cry, girl. I was in tears, so I can't wait to reread this one. And spoiler alert, one of the digital books, one of my ebooks, is going to be Isaac's Song, but we'll come back to that. So another book on my physical TBR is This Could Be Us by Kennedy Ryan. Another book that I read last year was Before I Let Go. And if you're a bookish person, you know about Kennedy Ryan and you know about Before I Let Go. And that book, oh my goodness, what a beautiful book. And I'm so excited to read this one. This is the second book in the series. It's called the Skyland series. This book focuses on one of the like friends of the main character, and we got a little bit of her relationship from Before I Let Go, but of course the book wasn't about her and her marriage. So this book, I'm so incredibly excited. The girls, the guys love this book. The girls and the guys love Kennedy Ryan, okay? Kennedy Ryan does no wrong for me. This book follows Soledad. I'm pretty sure that's how you say her name, is Soledad. She's in a relationship with her husband, and in Before I Let Go, they talked about how the husband was just very absent and wasn't around a lot, and she had suspicions about him cheating and stuff. And in this book, I want to say they end up getting like a divorce or something, and she's on this solo journey to figure out who she is and taking care of her daughters. And I think she does end up having a love interest in this book. But I'm just so excited. Kennedy Ryan has a way of writing things in a way that like hits you in your chest. I mean, like, you're reading the pages on a book and you're like, oh, like, girl, like, Kennedy Ryan is that girl. And I'm so excited to go ahead and read this one. I honestly may go ahead and reread Before I Let Go. I've really been enjoying just like rereading books in a series before I go into the next one. So very excited to read another work of art from Miss Kennedy Ryan and compare the two. I'm really excited. All right, y'all, so next on the fall TBR list is none other than Honey and Spice, and the cover, the art is beautiful and it screams fall. Let me show y'all. I mean, tell me this doesn't give the girls fall. So I honestly picked up Honey and Spice out of peer pressure because everybody I talk to, everybody I follow, friends who read books, everybody has read Honey and Spice and absolutely loves this book. And I'm so excited. I know that it's something that I'm going to really enjoy. The book follows two main characters. I want to say the female main character, she has a radio show, and she's talking about like situationships, and this takes place on a college campus. So they're talking about situationships and just like relationships, and there's one specific guy on campus who is like the player, and she publicly denounces him on that like radio podcast, whatever it is. And somehow they end up in a fake dating scenario. I love a fake date. Like, if nothing else is gonna get me, a fake dating trope is gonna do it every single time. So they end up like fake dating turned real dating, and I'm just really excited to see how this book turns out. Again, it's one of those books where I just hear nothing but good reviews, and so I'm just really excited. I also have never really read a book that took place on like a college campus. I feel like that's like a content gap right there. Like, I love that age, even though, child, I graduated years ago, but I cannot wait to read this book. I think it's going to be absolutely beautiful, and I hope that it lives up to the hype that everybody talks about. Alright, y'all, so next up on the fall TBR list is called Fake It Till You Bake It, and this is by Jamie Wesley. Again, the cover art, beautiful. So again, y'all, this is a fake dating book. Who's surprised? Like, I, for one, am just a huge romance girl, and one of my favorite tropes, like I said, is just fake dating, so I wasn't surprised. This book follows the female main character. She had like a reality TV show or something. She was on TV or something. Maybe it was a game show. I don't know. She was on TV, okay? And her image took a tumble, and she got a job at this new bakery who is also owned by an ex-NFL player, and she's working at the bakery. Somehow they get caught up with paparazzi, and it gets out that the two are dating, and they're not, but they decide to run with that in order to just like profit off of it. So this is a fake dating turned real dating type of situation, but the baking element I just absolutely love. I think that it's going to be just one of those like cute fluffy reads. It's going to be one of those things where it's like you're looking out the window, the leaves are changing colors. I just am so excited. This is one of those books that I feel like is going to be easily digestible, not too much. I have some thrillers on my e-reads, so I think this will be perfect to like fill in the little holes, to have something just like sweet and easy to read. No pun intended. Alright, y'all, and last but not least, for my fall physical TBR, I have Perfect Peace, and this is by Daniel Black as well. And y'all see the cover is absolutely gripping. Y'all, I am so incredibly pressed to read this book. Let me tell you, like I said, Don't Cry For Me is one of my all-time favorite books, and now I'm on a mission to go ahead and read everything that Daniel Black has written. This is at the top of that priority list, let me tell y'all. My mom read this book when I was really, really young, and I remember the imprint that it left on her. Like, to this day, she still talks about the book and how just, like, crazy it is. So the book follows a family of, I want to say, like 8, and the parents decided to keep having children. They had 7 boys, and on the 8th try, they decided to make the 8th boy a girl. Right. Right, y'all. So they decided they had 7 boys, and on the 8th try, they decided to just make this 8th boy a girl. So for 8 years, this child, whose name is Perfect, that's Perfect Peace is her name, when she turns 8, I want to say the family moves, and they decide to convert the now daughter back to a boy. And so it's a lot going on, not just for the 8-year-old who's now being transitioned to something else, but for the family. On the back of the book, it talks about how it questions the identity politics, it questions gender and sexuality and what we teach children, and how they soak up those things. You know, we think of children as sponges and the things that they soak up, and I'm really, really excited to read this one. I'm fascinated to see how this will work out, because, you know, if you grow up thinking that you're one thing and you turn out being something completely different, and like 8 is like pretty formative, like, you know what's going on, you're cognitive and things are clicking up here. Listen, Daniel Black is such a phenomenal writer. I know that this book is going to give me everything that I need, and I'm sure it'll be an emotional read for me as well. I cry literally all the time in books, and I know for a fact this won't be no different. Okay, you guys, so now that we went through all 5 of my physical TBR books, of course I do have some other books on that TBR list. I tend to read a lot. I just read a lot of books, so I'm sure that I will finish more than 5 this season, but I have a couple digital books too that I want to share with you guys. So the book we're going to begin with is called Last Minute First Lady, and it is written by Tania Montford, I think is how you pronounce her name. Get into the cover art. It's beautiful, okay? And for obvious reasons, I decided to pick this book up because it's an election year, and now feels like the time to read it. Like, I'm also rewatching Scandal. I'm just in like my little political bag right now, y'all. Before I became a women's studies major, I was a political science major, so I love to talk about politics. I don't know, it's like a guilty pleasure for me. So I love to read it in books where it's like lightly, easily digestible. So since it's an election season, it feels like the perfect time to read it. So the book is about a congressman who is running for office. He's pictured on the cover, and there's a journalist who recently got into like some hot water for a story that she did, and she comes up on this opportunity because the congressman, it's like he won't get elected because he's single, and so they want to marry him off, and somehow she gets in the loop where she's going to marry him, hence why it's called The Last Minute First Lady. So I'm really excited to read this one. I have my Kindle here, okay? Hey, Kindle girl. And it says at the bottom of the description, The Last Minute First Lady is a steamy marriage of convenience romance. It's perfect for readers who love outrageous in-laws, honeymoons to Napa Valley, and crooked politicians. Period. Y'all, this sounds like my type of read. So very excited to read this one, and I hope to read it very, very soon, because child, election day will be here before we know it, and I need to be reading it before then. Okay, you guys, so next I actually have a whole series of books, and it is The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. And let me tell y'all, I keep hearing so much about Miss Frida. Listen, everywhere. I cannot escape her. She writes a lot of like thriller books, but specifically I have all 3 of the Housemaid series. Book 1 is The Housemaid, book 2 is The Housemaid Secrets, and then book 3 is The Housemaid is Watching. And y'all, this sounds absolutely crazy, and I've had friends who have read this book and are like, girl, it's gripping. Like, it's gonna have you in a chokehold. Like, you're not gonna want to get up all weekend because you're just sitting here trying to fly through these books. The first book, we'll start there. Honestly, y'all don't need a description of the last two. So The Housemaid, the description is, it pulls you in immediately. So it talks about the housemaid's duties, and she cooks for this family, and you know, she is picking up the daughter after work, and it's a perfect husband. And one day when she's cleaning up the house, she decides to try on one of the wife's dresses, and the wife somehow finds out, and it's too late when the housemaid finds out. She lives in the residence with the family, and she lives in this room up in the attic, and by the time it's too late, she's locked in that room, y'all. She's locked in this room in the attic, but she has her own secrets. Like they say in the description, she talks about like having a life prior to, and obviously something crimey, child, because so I'm really excited to see what happens in this book, because now just lock this lady in the attic like for trying on a dress, girl. What? So I'm really excited, especially because this carries on through 3 books. Y'all. So I'm really excited to see it, because sometimes series, y'all, be a little windy. Okay, they be a little windy. So I'm really excited to go ahead and see what this is about. I've always heard that the first book is the best book, but we'll see. I'm gonna read all 3. Okay, you guys, so next is another book from another series, and I'm really excited about this one because I actually finished the book not too long ago. The first book in the series is called The 7-11 Split, and these books are written by Carmen Lee. So the second book in the series is the one that I'm talking about, and this book is called The Relationship Mechanic. And I'm so excited because I really did enjoy the 7-10 split, not 7-11. Yeah, it's 7-10 split, I'm pretty sure. So the 7-10 split was like a sports romance about bowling. This one is, the book is described as like a girl, she's coming to visit some people in Peach Blossom, which is where the series takes place, and her car breaks down, and another character comes and helps her out, and she's a mechanic, she's fixing the car up, but it gives like a jump start to her heart, is how it's described. So somehow, child, it goes from fixing the car to a relationship to love, and I love that. Okay, I'm so excited. Carmen Lee, I really enjoyed 7-10 Split, so I'm really excited to read this one as well. It's another one of those books where I feel like I'll just be able to fly through it. I love 7-10 Split, and when I tell you I was just clicking on my Kindle, I was flying through that book, so I know it's going to be no different than this one. The Relationship Mechanic, this is another like advanced copy. This one comes out in January 2025, and then the third book in the series will come out in August 2025. So I'm really excited to go ahead and read this, which means I'll probably go ahead and reread 7-10 Split. We'll see. Okay, y'all, so let's double back and talk about Isaac's Song by Daniel Black. Love the cover. I love the cover. I think that it is literally going to look perfect on my shelf when I buy my physical copy. Even though I do have an advanced copy of the digital, it'll look perfect. I have to have a physical of this one too, because I love Don't Cry For Me, and I know I'm going to love Isaac's Song equally as much. The book is described as a poignant, emotionally exuberant novel about a young queer black man finding his voice in 1980s Chicago. It's a novel of family, forgiveness, and perseverance, and we love to see it. So y'all, again, just absolutely so excited because Daniel Black is about to break my heart. I'm going to read Don't Cry For Me, and then I'm going to read this one. And this takes place in 1980 Chicago. And in the description of this book, it talks about 2 social catalysts that changes the way Isaac views himself and the world. So he gets to Chicago, he's starting this new life, and then boom, the Rodney King vicious attack happens, and then the AIDS epidemic happens, and he's trying to figure out the crossroads between both of his identities of being black, of being male, of being gay. What more can I ask for? What more can I ask for? So Isaac ends up going to therapy, and he ends up like writing out his feelings. I don't know if it's like I don't know how we get there, but he ends up writing about his feelings, and it leads him back to his home and his family, and just how he became who he is, which I think is absolutely beautiful as a writer, because that's exactly what his father did before he passed away. He wrote his life story out to Isaac to explain himself, and now Isaac is going back and doing the same thing and following his father's footsteps in a different variation. I'm absolutely so incredibly excited to go ahead and read this book, because Daniel Black has a pen that does not miss. Okay, so I know that he's going to talk about these hard and just emotional topics like AIDS and the Rodney King attack and the crossroads that brings Isaac to as an artist, as a man, as a gay black man. I did a book review on Don't Cry For Me, y'all, and I'm pretty sure it has like 70,000 views on it. Like, that book changed my life, and I'm so excited to read it now. If you're ever looking for a book recommendation, start with Don't Cry For Me. Hit me up later. Okay, y'all, and we have made it to the end of the list. We are on book number 10. This book is called My Mother Cursed My Name. So, y'all, let me read the description for this one for y'all as well real quick. This one says, 3 generations of fiercely strong and stubborn Mexican-American women face grief head-on as they attempt to shed generational traumas and discover the true meaning of home in this lyrical novel that explores magical realism. So, y'all, I'm actually excited to read this book too. So I actually received another advanced copy of this one, but this is out now. I think it was released like at the end of July. This book follows 3 Mexican American women, 3 generations of Mexican American women. The first is a grandmother, there's a mother, and then of course the daughter. So the daughter ends up getting pregnant pretty young, and she decides to just uproot and leave her hometown. From the description of the book, it sounds like her and her mother have a little bit of like a toxic relationship where there's just like some bumping heads there. So she decides to leave, and then I want to say the grandmother dies, and it's just sort of picking up the pieces, but somehow there's some magical realism in this as well. And I don't know a lot about the book, to be 100% honest with y'all, but it was enough where I wanted to read it. And I have been putting my big toe in magical realism. I read Tia Williams' A Love Song for Ricky Wilde, and that has just like a sprinkle of magical realism, and that was enough to get me interested in the genre. And I love to read diverse reads, so I'm loving that this book focuses on 3 generations of Mexican American women, and I just love reading about rich cultures that I don't necessarily know about. We love that. So definitely very excited to follow the relationship between these 3 women and see what led them here, and see what it looks like at the finish line. So yeah, y'all, those are all the books that I have on my list. So if you are not new around here, y'all know that I typically don't finish all of the books on this list, but I am going to try my best. If you're curious about like what I'm reading in real time, you can always add me as a friend on Goodreads, and I will add you right on back. Okay, so it is always in my description box, the link to my Goodreads, but I will also have links to all of these books in my Goodreads as well, so that you can add them to your Amazon carts, Barnes and Noble's book list, all of the things. So definitely let me know down below what you're reading, what you plan on reading in this fall. What is your goal, y'all? I'm so curious. What is your goal for 2024? Child, we are in, can you believe it, we're in quarter 4. I mean, 2024 came and went. Okay, so I'm really, really excited to hopefully get through a good majority of the books that I have here. But let me know if you've read any of these. Let me know your book count down below. I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.